Howdy there, folks. Welcome into today's video. I got a few things to speak about in regards to this one, okay? Stock was up over 16% here today. We're going to talk about what stock this was, why it was up so much. Do I think there's further upside ahead for the stock? Why does it matter to me? Those sorts of things. So we'll speak about that. And then after that, I want to react to just one video in this one. This video here, it's actually out very recently here. Salesforce CEO went on Mad Money and spoke about kind of the state of not just his company, but the market in general. I think this is a very important individual. I think one of the most important individuals to kind of speak about the state of business is the Salesforce CEO. So I really want to hear what he has to say. How's he feeling about 2024? All those sorts of subjects. So appreciate everybody joining me as always. I want to get straight into this one. Thanks so much for being here, folks. Thank you for being subscribed. New all-time high subscribers in the History channel, man. I appreciate each and every one of you. By the way, if you're looking to apply to join my private group, that's pinned comment down there. Get access to all my courses, access to 6- and 7-figure Discord chats, access to see the moves I'm making, all those sorts of things, okay? So this stock is Foot Locker stock. Foot Locker is up over 16 percentage points here today. Stock's made a pretty big move in the past 5 days, 23.5% in the past 5 days. Why is it a big deal to me? Well, I own the stock. I own it in this particular portfolio. I own 900 shares, and so we went green on that today. I also own it. Is a pretty important, fairly important position in the Patreon portfolio as well. So it definitely matters to me, right? Now, why did the stock go up huge today? Why was the stock up 16+%? Well, Foot Locker shares jumped 16% after earnings beat more upbeat sales outlook. Okay, this is good. Foot Locker beat third quarter earnings and sales expectations. The shoe and apparel retailer said it expects better same-store sales this year than it previously expected. Okay, so that's good. That's what I call the headlines, right? The headlines are good around Foot Locker. They're talking about earnings beats for this past quarter. They're talking about, guidance is seen as positive for the company overall. So that's good. But I always say, okay, what are the actual numbers? Okay, what does the income statement say? Is this company really deserving of this move, or is it making a move because of another reason, right? And this is also going to affect another one of my stocks as well. Well, when we dig into the income statement, we find that this is an absolute mess right now, at least, okay? This is a grade F income statement. I grade Foot Locker a grade F for Foot Locker, okay? Sales down considerably year over year. $1.98 billion versus $2.17 billion. Total revenue obviously down substantially, right? License revenues like almost non-existent. I don't even know why they list that there. It's just put under sales. I mean, geez. Cost of sales, $1.4 billion versus $1.47 billion. So it wasn't like cost of sales dropped that much considering how much revenue was down, right? Selling general administrative expenses was down for the company year over year, so that's good. Income from operations came in at $47 million versus $160 million in the same quarter a year ago. What a disaster for the bottom line, right? Net income, $28 million of net income versus $96 million of positive net income in the same quarter last year. That's a grade F income statement there, right? Now, to be fair, I think everybody that knows Foot Locker expected this to be a really bad quarter, right? We expect this entire year to be a mess for Foot Locker. It's really about Mary Dillon positioning this company for 2024 and beyond, right? And this was the messy year that you kind of got to clean up. And so if you're wondering why is the stock up big when they just reported a, what I would call an F grade income statement, here's the deal, okay? Here's how a stock can go up. And then we'll speak about what stage Foot Locker's in right now. And when you have a company that goes from a disaster to just bad, you can see a massive move up in the stock. When the story on the stock goes from bad to okay, you can see a massive move up on the stock. When it goes from okay to good, you see a massive move up in the stock. And when the story goes from good to great, you can see a massive move up in the stock, okay? Now, if a company continues to report great numbers after great numbers, it will also continue to see move up on stock. Now, the inverse is also true. If a company goes from great numbers to only good numbers, usually the stock price will decline quite an amount. If it goes from good to just okay, you usually see another huge move down in the stock. From okay to bad, another massive move down in the stock. And if the story goes from bad to disaster, huge move down in the stock price. Okay, so this works both ways. Now, if you're wondering where's Foot Locker in regards to this situation we're looking at in front of us, and let's be very clear, Foot Locker just moved from one stage to another, which is why the stock was up 16+% here today, okay? The stage that Foot Locker's in right now is this. This is where Foot Locker's at. It went from disaster to just bad. That's the way Wall Street's looking at this, the way investors looking at this. They're saying, well, you know, it's not a disaster. They're talking about better guidance than expected. They just came in and beat their numbers. So this is a bad situation with Foot Locker, right? F-grade income statement. It's bad, but it's not a disaster anymore. Now, in order for Foot Locker to go up more, okay, so let's call it get out of the 20s and go to the 30s, what Foot Locker has to do from here is they have to go from bad to okay. So if in the next quarter they report what would be seen as, you know, let's call it just a D grade or even a C grade income statement, then the stock's going to move to the 30s. If then they can go from okay to good, then you'll see a stock move from like 30-ish to 35 plus. If they go from good to great, then you'll see the stock back in the 40s again and maybe even going to the 50s. But now they got to come in and keep this story going where it just gets better and better and better over the next, let's just call it 4 quarters or so. If they can do that over the next 4 quarters, they'll see back to a $40+ stock price, right? Now, there's a problem, and there's a big problem, okay? And this goes to another one of my stocks, which is Nike. This is a kind of somewhat of a newer position for me. It's a very small position I have in Nike overall. If you look at Foot Locker's balance sheet, it has a huge issue. And the huge issue is they have way too much inventory. I mean, way too much damn inventory. Nike needs Foot Locker to crush it. They need it to absolutely crush it. Now, of course, Foot Locker is one of many retailers that Nike sells into, but Foot Locker is a very important retailer that Nike sells into. So Nike is stuck in a really bad, in my opinion, inventory position that their end sellers got to move through. And so this goes to the companies like the Foot Lockers, the Dick's Sporting Goods. This can go even into Nike's own stores. You know, it can go into companies like Nordstrom. So I've seen some good deals even on Nordstrom for Nike products. By the way, if you're looking for Nike products, this is probably the cheapest prices you'll get is this holiday season because Nike needs to move inventory and all these guys got to clear out this inventory. And so this is going to weigh on Nike's results here in the short term. And what happened here? Well, in my personal opinion, Nike ultimately sent too much product. They were probably too bullish. Their fiscal year ends May 31st, 2023. Now, they reported almost 10% growth. They shouldn't have been that much growth. It should not have been that much growth, guys. They reported that much growth because, in my opinion, they stuffed the channel too much. And they probably wanted to try to, you know, report decent numbers. They were probably in a tough place. And so they said, ship to the channel. And ultimately, I think they sent the retailers too much inventory. And now those retailers are stuck on that inventory. They're discounting. They're trying to move it. And, you know, Nike's just got to wait. They got to play a waiting game of waiting for all these retailers to move through all this inventory now at this point in time, right? So 2 ways Nike fixes this issue. One is they got to get their branding back on point. I really haven't seen much from the branding side of Nike recently that's made me say, wow, like Nike's, you know, that's a great commercial. That's great ad campaign. They need to get their branding back on point. Second thing is they need something to happen here that's completely out of their control. This is completely out of their control. They can't control this at all, but they do need this other thing to happen as well. And the second thing is they need inflation to continue to come down, right? And, you know, one of the reasons Nike's had this kind of issue, Foot Locker's had this issue, is inflation's sliced and diced the middle class. They, you know, a lot of people that make, let's say, you know, under $60,000 a year. And guess what? Nike's main customer base is people that make less than $60,000 a year. Like that's the majority of folks that Nike sells to make less than $60,000 a year. So inflation slice and dice them. If inflation is no longer an issue, people have jobs and real wages are really starting to tick up in 2024. It's going to help Foot Locker massively. It's going to help Nike massively, and they'll see a big move up. You know, companies like Lululemon maybe haven't been hit as hard, but Lululemon sells to a very different clientele base. A lot of Lululemon's customers are 100K plus. So it's different clientele basis, and you know that's kind of the story around Foot Locker and Nike. So does Foot Locker have more room to move up? Over the next 12 to 24 months, sure, but they got to come through with the numbers. Mary Dillon's got to come through with the numbers, report great numbers over this next, you know, many quarters, show that the restructuring was smart, that they got it done, and then sure, you know, Foot Locker can be a $30, $40, even $50 plus stock again. But they got to come through with the numbers over this next 4 to 6 quarters, okay? Now, let's go ahead and let's jump into Mark Benioff, the Salesforce CEO, and see what he has to say about not just his company, but the economy, growth rates, the industry, all those sorts of things, because this is a huge market cap. It's one of the biggest big dogs out there, and what Benioff says is very important.
Force to learn more about the quarter and what comes next. Mr. Benioff, welcome back to me, buddy.
Jim, it's always great to be with you.
Oh, same, Mark. Now, I've got to tell you, a year ago, people were saying, you know what, he's not going to do a big free cash flow number. He's not looking at the current remaining performance obligations. He's not delivering on the bottom line. I'm looking at current remaining performance obligations, $4 billion more than people thought. Free cash flow, $1.37 billion. People are looking for $681 million. How is this possible?
I graded Salesforce's income statement, put that inside the private group in the income statements tab inside the Discord chat, and spoiler alert, it was an A-. It was a phenomenal income statement Salesforce put up. Absolutely phenomenal.
Well, Jim, you can see these numbers. These are monster numbers, and it's a monster year. It's been incredible at Salesforce, and the transformation has been one of the biggest I've ever seen in software. I mean, the quarter, you can see these numbers. Few companies have ever delivered numbers in software at this size and scale, and not just in revenue, but in cash flow as well. Exactly like you're saying, this cash flow number, I think, is up 1,000% year over year. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were looking at, look, your earnings per share, obviously much better than expected, but the numbers that I really count on, the ones that everyone's measuring by, are those two. Now, they're also measuring, one of the things that's happened this quarter is that when I hear someone does a lot of business with Amazon, it's worth 10% immediately to their stock. And it pops up. I know you've always had a good relationship, but you're doing a huge amount of business now with Amazon Web Services.
Well, you know that we have a great relationship with Andy Jassy, and I think he's one of the best CEOs in the world. And the partnership that we've had with them has gone on for years and years. They're a huge customer of Salesforce, by the way. You know, Amazon uses Salesforce to maintain their customer relationships for B2B and B2C. That's really how all of this got started. We have got all of their customers on journeys, and we're providing our Einstein capabilities and our new data cloud to accelerate their growth, and it's working incredibly well. It's just an incredible success story for Salesforce.
Well, you know, there's a new CEO at a company I really respect and have used and been a good client for, ADP. It's Ms. Black, Maria Black. It seems like that she understands how to use Einstein better than anyone to keep her gazillion customers happy. What is she doing with you?
Well, Maria Black is a fantastic CEO, probably one of the best in the industry, and I'm so glad that she is at ADP, a great company and a brand of
Benioff. I freaking love the guy. I mean, what can I say about him, okay? Why is he so damn amazing? I mean, obviously, he's one of the best businessmen in the world, literally, right? I think, you know, what makes a great businessman is just understanding how to handle all different situations. It's building a great business, but he just understands, like, the game, right? He understands, you know, promoting other people and, you know, saying positive things about folks and winning friends and influencing people. And I can tell you in a Salesforce's industry, it's highly competitive. There's a lot of other companies people could go with that they might say, well, why is this product much different than this? But the man just understands people. He's the salesman of salesmen. I could make an argument that maybe Mark Benioff might be the greatest salesman in the entire world. Like, if you're into sales, like, I would study everything Benioff has done, everything he's doing. I would listen to every conference call you ever could. The man, I think the man's probably the best salesman in the world. Like, literally. I can't think of somebody off the top of my head that I'm like, they're a better salesman. I can't think of anybody. I mean, just tremendous. He understands on such a deep level, like, a whole game, man. He just gets it. And I just see the man, and I'm like, damn, he just freaking gets it. And, you know, that's how you build a $100 billion+ company.
For literally decades. And they're doing just an incredible job with us really in three areas. One, first, it's a monster deal for us for the quarter. So you know that, Jim. But number two is they're really using our Einstein GPT to create this kind of co-pilot relationship to make their sales reps much more successful.
And why it's so powerful when a man like that is so good at being a salesman is, guess what? There's companies called Salesforce. So this is a company that's dependent upon salespeople, okay? This man's such a damn good salesman, he knows another good salesman, or saleswoman that is, right? He can spot them. He can be like, that one's good, we need to add them to the team. You know, he understands this at such a deeper level because he's so damn good at what he does, right? And so, you know, it's like being a great athlete. Like, you can see it, if you see another great athlete, like, you recognize it right away. Like, you can tell, like, oh, wow, that's another great athlete, right? Benioff. Love the guy.
About that. And they're using our data cloud as well, which is going to help them to really get their data in shape so they can really accelerate with this AI revolution that's going on.
Are you finding that people are using Einstein to make it so that they have a lot more time to be in touch with the customers and a lot less time typing, a lot less time doing administrative work, that you're doing it? What is the multiplier that you are giving, force multiplier of Einstein?
Jim, you've got three exciting drivers going on, or what you call multipliers. Number one is, Jim, deals $1 million and above this quarter are up like 80%. It's incredible.
Wow.
These very large deals, I haven't seen numbers like that in so long. And I'll tell you why. It's because companies are really adding all of these great products together into a suite. And it's not just our sales cloud and our service cloud and our marketing cloud, but it's also Tableau, it's Slack, it's MuleSoft, and it's also Einstein GPT. And the final, a cherry on the top of the cake, is our data cloud. That is an incredible new product. And I think in the quarter, Jim, actually, we did 1,000 new data cloud customers. Isn't that amazing? Add to that, another huge driver for the quarter is our Einstein GPT Copilot technology. This is also amazing, where we did 550 Einstein GPT Copilot deals for customers. So these are customers really putting AI to use. Now, and that is what I think is starting to really drive our growth in these exciting new ways.
Is it every vertical? I know finance is supposed to be late. How about retail? Who is putting the money in? Manufacturing? Where are you seeing it?
Jim, this is really across the board. I just got off a plane, as you know. I've been in Tokyo all week. Jim, right. I couldn't believe the traction. Every single customer was implementing Data Cloud. We did our world.
I just love Benioff so much, man. I just can't even stand it. Oh, I can't stand it.
Yesterday, I did the keynote. I got on the plane. I got off the plane. I'm here. We had thousands of customers who are interested in deploying Data Cloud in Japan because they all need to go AI. You're not going to go AI in your enterprise until you get your data together. You're not just using the Reddit data or the internet data the way ChatGPT is, for your enterprise. You have to get your data together. And that's why Salesforce Data Cloud is so important. And it's why we did those 1,000 Data Cloud deals in the quarter. And when you look now at what we've done, even in just such a short period of time with Einstein GPT, which is our Copilot product, 17% already of the Fortune 100 are already now these Einstein AI customers. This is the new technology. I'm not even taking into consideration the trillion Einstein transactions we did this week, which is our predictive and generative layer, our whole trust layer. That did 1 trillion transactions. These are just across the board new customers.
Okay, when I saw that it was like 1 trillion a month, and now it's 1 trillion a week. And when I see you next, is it really possible it could be 1 trillion a day?
Well, Jim, this is just an incredible opportunity, what's happening now. And I think we're going to see some unbelievable opportunities with Einstein, and we're going to see some incredible capabilities, not just with predictive AI, but with generative AI as well.
Now, is it possible that you yourself are using it? Because when I saw the head count, your head count is down substantially from a year ago, and yet your revenues are exploding. So you're using it too.
Look, Jim, if you look at the employment data and you look at what ADP is saying, what ADP is saying is that we have incredibly low employment. We're going to need more productivity. Right. Where is that productivity going to come from, Jim? It's going to come from AI. We all need to be using this AI technology to take advantage of basically the incredible, opportunities in the labor market. So if we're going to be able to maximize what we have in our companies, we need to deploy this AI technology. To do that, we have to do a number of things.
So before we go further here, that's actually a very interesting point he brings up there, right? About, okay, makes me think, like, if you were a leader, a true leader in AI, you're probably going to end up forming some of the most profitable business models in the world. Because I'm just thinking, like, if you're a true leader in AI verticals, right, you're going to understand how to use those AIs inside your own business to hopefully give you the most efficient business model possible, understand the biggest revenue opportunities possible, and run the best business model possible with the best margins possible, right? Which, makes me wonder about companies not just like Salesforce, but companies like Palantir, maybe companies like Microsoft and some of these other companies that are really on the leading edge of AI and how they're going to use them inside their own businesses to ultimately become the most margin accretive, profitable businesses you can possibly imagine, right? So, I don't know, that's just a little food for thought there, and I thought that was, it's an interesting kind of thought, right? Interesting.
Going to be using these data clouds so that we can get our data together. That is our fundamental message to our customers. You saw that at Dreamforce, right, and how successful that was. And it's
two other companies that come to mind, or that are what I would consider AI leaders that can probably save themselves a lot of money and maximize revenue opportunity. Those two companies are Meta and Amazon. Both going to obviously be massive in the AI market. Both have several different products, and in both those both those companies should be as let's call it efficient as you can possibly imagine over the coming years. And because they're on the leading edge of AI,
really all over the world. I'm so excited about what all of our customers are doing with our data cloud.
All right, well, how successful have you been in the world of open AI? I saw your tweets. I know that they have a lot of good people. Have some of them felt liberated, want to go to Salesforce?
Well, you're right. I am recruiting aggressively artificial intelligence engineers. Well, I'm recruiting aggressively all kinds of great engineers. And some of those folks that we'll be able to get back were actually our employees before, their Ohanas, their rebounds. And we're excited to get that kind of opportunity. That's so exciting for us when we get that boomerang coming back at Salesforce. We've had a tremendous success with that. And listen, if you're a Salesforce alumni or our Ohana and you want to come back, you know how to email me personally, and I will take care of you.
All right, well, there's question.
I mean, can you not see why I love the dude? Like, my gosh, like, he's like maybe one person that left Salesforce that we think is a great employee and we want him back. Like, maybe they're watching this Jim Cramer interview right here and maybe we're gonna get him back. Like dude's just on his game, man.
You sent me a book, Ghost Fleet, not that long ago, and it made me worried. It made me worried that perhaps the Chinese could be more than just, let's say, economic competitors. When you sat down with President Xi recently, did you find him more friendly, given the fact that his nation's economy is sinking and ours is on the rise?
Jim, I was so grateful that President Xi came to San Francisco, to our great city. And I was so grateful for a successful APAC conference where we had about 35 heads of state. We hosted many of them at Salesforce Tower, showing them this vision of artificial intelligence. And I felt there, and I'll also tell you at the UK Safety Summit, which I also attended in the quarter, Jim, the Chinese ministry came, and to see China participating on the world stage and really having that collaborative relationship with us again. This is so important for everyone. So important. And I'll tell you that in the quarter, we also deployed at Alibaba for the first time, including getting Caring and LVMH up and running on the Alibaba cloud. I am so excited about that. It's a huge accomplishment.
You buried the lead. These are all the great companies that you could possibly...
Also attended in the quarter, Jim. The Chinese ministry came, and to see China participating on the world stage and really having that collaborative relationship with us again. This is so important for everyone. So important. And I'll tell you that in the quarter, we also deployed at Alibaba for the first time, including getting Caring and LVMH up and running on the Alibaba cloud. I am so excited about that. It's a huge accomplishment.
You buried the lead. These are all the great companies that you could possibly see. Mark Benioff with honestly, Mark, an amazing quarter. Congratulations. I thought the summer quarter was good. This is amazing. It's awesome. It's an awesome quarter. Congratulations.
Well, we're going to do $8.7 billion. I mean, Jim, you look at not just an $8.7 billion quarter. We're going to do now $34.8 billion.
Even David Faber will be impressed. I mean,
wow, just very impressive. And whew, yeah, I wish I owned a lot of Salesforce stock. That's all I can say, man. I wish I owned a lot of Salesforce stock. That dude does a hell of a job running that company. I appreciate everybody joining me as always. Thanks so much for being here, folks. Thank you for being subscribed to the channel. Appreciate each and every one of you. If you're looking to apply to join a private group, pin comment down there. You fill out an application. You get access to all my best courses. You get access to my 6- and 7-figure Discord chat, access to see the moves I make in my nearly $2 million Fidelity account each week, and all that good stuff. Much love and have a great day.